It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to a very, very special episode. It's a pilot episode, in fact, and it's something that we have been visualizing for quite some time here at the OpenMic Broadcast Network. What is it, you ask? It's a program that's going to be innovative. It's a program that's going to be inspirational. It's a program that's going to be empowerment. It's a program that's going to be enlightened. It is a program that is geared toward you as a body, that you can understand the flip side of everything that's going in and out in the world of not only athletics, but in society as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, put your seatbelts on, and it's time to go on the journey. I am fortunate to have with us on today 4 dynamic individuals. And when I say dynamic, I'm not using that term loosely. These women of color happen to be in a position of authority and power. They happen to be decision makers, and they happen to be athletic directors in various institutions across the country. I am proud to have this panel, which will be a part of the journey. We will have them introduce themselves, because I'm not going to mess up any titles, and we're going to let them start right now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Donnita Rogers. I'm the Director of Athletics at Langston University, the home of the Lions, and also the only HBCU in the state of Oklahoma.
Woo! Hi, I'm Kiki Baker-Barnes. I am currently the Athletic Director at Dillard University in New Orleans, Louisiana. I also serve as Interim Commissioner of the Gulf Coast Athletic Conference and the founder of So You Want a Career in Athletics program, exposing girls ages 13 to 18 to careers in sports.
Hi, my name is Janet Eaton. I'm the Athletic Director at Lourdes University in Sylvania, Ohio. Very, very proud to be a member of Delta Sigma Theta. I'm the first female African-American athletic director at Lourdes and holding it down in Big Town, Sylvania.
At a Dillard University alumnus.
It's always one, isn't it?
Hi, I'm Elissa Burwell, and I'm the Athletic Director of Texas College in Tyler, Texas. The Mighty Lady Steers. I am an Alpha Kappa Alpha Incorporated. And I'm happy to be a part of the talk show today.
Well, ladies,
There you go.
well, I knew it was going to be something. We got 2 Deltas, an AKA a Zeta, and a Sigma on board. Boy, that sounds like confusion already, doesn't it?
Divine Night is in the building.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. Well, look, first of all, and I want to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your busy schedules. And I know with everything that's going on, it's a crazy time. Of course, we have the pandemic that's going on. We have the protest that's going on. But then business is still having to be conducted. Whether it's unusual, it has to appear as usual as much. The first question that I would like for us to kick around would be, what is it that you're discovering about yourself and your leadership abilities through all these adverse changes that are going on right now?
I think that the biggest thing that I've learned about myself during, I'll say this period of COVID was, I guess, sometimes you just take for granted the type of environment that you've established in your office and everything. It was very difficult for me to learn to really embrace teleworking process. And it really helped me to have a lot of sympathy for my student athletes that were now forced immediately for all classes to be, online. And a lot of people definitely need that face-to-face contact. And some of our student athletes really struggled with going straight to just using technology to try to learn. So I really, I guess, had to try to embrace that process like everyone else. At first, I can remember fumbling around on the first Zoom meeting, and now I'm a little more fluent in that part. But it kind of threw everybody into what I think will be a new normal. That most of us will probably continue to meet much more through Zoom and other platforms like that. And so I think I learned to really appreciate people more. I miss my colleagues. I miss my coaches. I miss seeing my student athletes. And hopefully, when a vaccine or something has been discovered, that we'll appreciate those times together a little bit more.
That's good stuff, Donnita. I've learned. Well, let me say this. I kind of already knew this, but I'm for sure now. I have confirmation that I am probably the best job creator in the world. It took me about a week trying to figure out, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? I don't know what I'm gonna do. And about after a week, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start a webinar series. I've been doing a webinar series for girls for the past month, and I'll finish my last one on July 17th. But it's like literally, I can create work. I see opportunities, and I'll figure out a way to do that. So I have confirmed that I will never be broke. And if for some reason I'm no longer the athletic director, I have learned to build websites now, so I can get over into the technological website area. Like I've been able to establish my skills somewhat where I can do some other things. So I think that's the one thing that I've learned about myself, or confirmed about myself, during this COVID pandemic.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it was cold when the pandemic hit up here. But what I've learned most of all about myself, I already knew I was motherly. I've always felt like I was mother hen. It was my job to take care of everybody. So I still motherly on a different scale, on a different level. I have a variety of coaches when it comes to age range, and just to stop the business as usual, it was more of what's wrong. Let me see what's going on in your world. I felt like I was in a situation where it was more clinical for me, making sure everyone was healthy and in a good place mentally, spiritually, financially, emotionally, the whole 9 yards. And so we do know having finances makes life a little easier, but just knowing someone cares makes it even better. And so I literally, Zoom is nice, but every now and then a personal text, those things. I stopped doing business as usual. Yep, everybody was jumping on Zoom. Appreciate it, love it, zoomed out. But sometimes it's not even about a Zoom. Let me FaceTime you. Let me call you. Let me do a drive-by. Let me clean up the drive. Let me clean up the drive-by. Drive by their house and say, hey, how you doing? You know, I have older coaches. I just literally would just go drop a basket of food off. I know where you are, and let me just drop some stuff off like that. And what I realized about myself was, business is important, but at the same time, just add that personal touch to it, and make sure I took care of myself. So that was it.
Learning about myself through COVID-19, actually with my coaches, it has been really amazing on Zoom. Learning for me a lot new technology. And as far as my student athletes, actually we were going on spring break and not having contact with some of them and making sure they were understanding the online and the situations they were in. But more than anything, being able to come together more as a family and recognize and realize and be appreciative of what we do have. Learning life from a new perspective. Understanding, I think we've taken for granted what we have. So it has, every day has been a learning experience for me, for others. And I miss being around seeing people, but family has been a lot of, having grandkids has been great for me. But not being able to see them for a couple of weeks has been very difficult. But it's been a learning experience, but it's been a good experience.
Right. Now, with all that, I got to address this elephant in the room, and I've been so excited. I've been so giggity about this whole project, and I want to ask this question, and this is where you get to be transparent, and I am woman, hear me roar. We know that each of you are unique in your own way. You are now in the world of a predominantly dominated position by men. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the greatest resistance, what was your resistance level at the beginning of your athletic director career compared to where you are now in your athletic director's career?
It's still the same. Has anybody changed? What? Nothing has changed other than the atmosphere and learning how to deal with it. For me personally, I would always give it an 8 to 8.5.
Okay.
I have been very fortunate to be surrounded by some strong women. You got 3 of them on the phone. They have all impacted me in different ways. I've probably known Kiki the longest. We were both coaches. Then I knew Burwell. Relationship was established more with Burwell because we were in the same conference. And Donnita was admired from afar. She was at Langston, a basketball coach, and just kicking everybody's behind. So I admired her from afar, but I've gotten to know her and just really learned from her since we connected as ADs. But the resistance in this profession is real. It ain't no sugarcoating. It is real. Being a single parent, a single black female, trying to get it all done at one time, we wear many, many, many hats. When I look at the panel, the group of people that's on here, to me, Kiki is a workaholic. That girl, Kiki, made me look like I don't do nothing but eat potato chips and prop my feet up. And I admire how hard she works and goes from there. But at the same time, it gives me motivation. And not on a jealousy thing. It isn't even about that. I graduated from Dillard University. I'm so proud of what's going on at DU and just anything I could do to support. But anytime I see my people, my sisters thriving, they don't even have to know me, but just prayers and love, because it's not easy. It is not easy being that face. And I don't know about anybody else, but I know for me, I have to always unpeel an onion when I'm in a situation, because I have to decide or decipher if they're being sarcastic, if it's a microaggression, is it gender, is it race, what is it? So I have to decide. And before I can make a decision and move forward. Challenges will always be there. I definitely embrace the challenges. I'm very optimistic. Probably 90% of the ADs in the world are optimistic. We are designed to cope and deal with conflict, manage conflict, and the whole 9 yards. But personally, it has not changed. It has not changed. It's been holding steady at an 8.5. Right now, as we get into this Black Lives Matter and the young people getting ready to make their mark on the on their path toward their journey and their excellence and stuff like that, making sure that we guide them and lead them and just share with them some of our experiences, but let them know that we're here to support them and kind of go from there. But other than that, no, 8.5. I want to hear what somebody else got to say. Yeah.
She had an 8.5. So let me think about that. So one of the things when I talk about my career, one of the things I talk about is just learning to be authentically who you are and how that impacts leadership. So I don't know if my resistance initially was more because I was a woman, or was it because I wasn't being authentically myself and was still learning my own confidence in, who I was as a leader. So I'll give you an example. So people who know me, I'm pretty goofy. You're liable to see me dancing, singing, playing a guitar. I know all the latest dances. So if the students know it, I know it. I know them all, and I probably could beat them in a dance contest, at least some of them. This is who I am. This is who I've always been. However, when I started out as an athletic director, I wasn't that person. I was trying to be this serious, dictatorial person, do what I say, really, really I don't want to call it ugly, but very just dogmatic with people. And that did not go over well early in my career. It wasn't until I decided, like, number one, that's not who I am. Like, I don't tell people what to do, but I can make people feel good enough about me or about a situation for them to do what I tell them to do. So when I became comfortable with who I was as a leader, and became authentically myself, the goofy, laughing, turn up person that you'll see in any situation, that is when I started to see people follow my leadership. And not just my leadership within my campus community, but also at the conference level, where I was the president of the conference for a certain number of years, and then nationally. Like, literally, people were like, we just love to hear you talk. Well, I'm glad you like to hear me talk, because I got a lot to say. And if you listen to me, you'll probably do all right. So, but I think it was more about me learning to be comfortable with who I am. And that's kind of one of my nuggets or things that I share with people. When you become comfortable with yourself, usually other people will eventually get over it. I kind of somewhat, and maybe they won't ever get over it. But if I'm in charge, I'm in charge. It is what it is. You'll be all right. But that's kind of been my experience.
Now, before we get to you, Donnita, Kiki, I got to ask you this question. I hope y'all don't mind me just calling you by your first names and stuff like that, because I feel like we all kinfolk right now anyway. So when Kiki, do you think that part of that early struggle was because what you thought the perception of an athletic director be from looking from a male as that role model perception?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every leader, head coach, athletic director that I had was a white male. And all of them are very dominant, do what I say do, and there's no conversation about what you feel like and concern. Like, I heard Donnita and Janet both talk about how, just their concern for people, even in their leadership roles. Like, I don't ever remember receiving that from anybody that was a leader of mine. It was, I hired you or I recruited you to do a job. You here to do the job, get it done.
Okay.
That was it.
Now,
so I thought that was the way you did it. So when I went in just kind of barking orders down people, they were looking at me like, first of all, who are you to come and tell me what I am and am not going to do? And I was like, well, I'm the athletic director. I'm in charge. And there was the resistance. But I think that's more about, again, that's really not who I am. And what I realized was when I'm who I am, I can get people to do anything I want them to do.
And how long did it take you to figure that out?
About 3 years.
Wow. Okay.
I'm just grateful I had the time to mess up. Praise the Lord.
Amen and hallelujah to that. All right, Miss Rogers, you got the floor.
All right. This has been a great learning experience for me as well, and just to see how you guys so eloquently put that, because I'd say that when I first came back to Langston after hanging up my whistle from coaching, I kind of struggled with the same thing. I finally learned that, especially starting out, followed a male in this position. And let's just say it, as the genders often lead in different ways, and different things become important. Or the detail part, we're probably more picky about some of those things. But I finally just learned, like, hey, pick 3 or 4 things to start out that you just will not settle for anything less than that. And then let's try to meet in the middle on some of the rest. And so as we were able to kind of navigate through that, totally changing the processes. They had never had weekly meetings and those type of things. And I not only wanted to do it, not just to, lord my leadership on everybody, but I want to meet and connect. And I felt like that was part of building a family structure, that we look forward to meeting each other at least once a week, that there were no student athletes around. It was just us talking about issues that we were experiencing as coaches, administrators within the department. And they've really grown to look forward to that. And if we look forward, I have people get on the line before me on our weekly Zoom meetings as well. So, but we're all excited to be back together. But I think that Kiki, you hit the nail on the head. It's just learning to be yourself and what leadership style best fits you. And I too had many male role models, and you cannot be an athletic director. Like I'm going to do this just like a male would. There are going to be differences, and you have to find how to do it for you. So on challenges, I think sometimes there's always. I don't know if you ladies experience this, where people want to maybe help. Like, I've got this. I feel like sometimes people mistake your transparency for that you're asking their opinions or their help. Sometimes I'm just trying to be transparent. I don't need you to help me make this decision. And so it's working on those three things. And I think that early on you're challenged on some things, but as you grow in this leadership position, I think a lot of times I struggle to get used to people that challenge you in passive aggressive manners. That drives me nuts. And so so those things. And occasionally when you're working with someone and they're just like, oh, well, don't get emotional about it. I'm not emotional. I'm passionate about it, So I think it's navigating those things, too, that are still some kind of buzzwords that will, kind of make you like, hey, you need to, think about how you're saying it. If you're passionate about it or whatever, you're not being emotional. So I think, I guess those are the biggest challenges. And I don't really see as much pushback as I used to. Just some of those other issues continue to kind of drive you crazy is about how you're challenged, where I feel like if I was a male in that position that I wouldn't be. And Elissa may be able to talk to that as well. We have football here, and it's one of those things as well that I think a lot of people really underestimate, not only how much you know about football, but how much of an impact that you can have in a football school being a female.
Well, I hope, Elissa, I think she may have drifted off. Somebody probably lured her some candy or something. We hadn't heard back from her. But when you talk about football, for example, as an athletic director, you don't have to know about every sport. Just know who you put in that position, know about the sport in order for the success to come. So it's just like I've never played tennis, but I better hire somebody who knows and understands tennis in order for me to be effective on the court. And so I think we put a little bit more. Now, Janet, if I'm not mistaken, you have 22, 24 sports, right?
I have 24 sports, and just to echo what you just said, it's not about the sport. It's about hiring someone that can do their job and allow them to lead you. One thing that I hang my hat on is being comfortable in my skin and being aware of my weaknesses. And so you surround people that are stronger than you in certain areas. And if everybody is on the same page, everybody is going to shine. And so, and that's real talk. That's real talk. So you do get those coaches that know their craft and let them do their job. And, and so I welcome great debate. I'm opposite of Kiki. I love her, but I'm opposite. I'm not playful at all.
Look, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I welcome a healthy debate, but my thing is, once it leaves the room or the office, we're all on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
But again, y'all know a debate is controlled and under structure. But I don't want, at no means, to have people around me where they can't express themselves. So if you feel like you want to walk in and be like, Janet, God doggone it, blah, 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 get it off your chest. And I'm and I welcome that. And the coaches that I work with, I manage and oversee 40 plus people, and they understand that. Get it off your chest. And so when we walk in now, we can laugh and we can talk and do some things. I don't want anybody to feel like they're walking on eggshells. I welcome if I've made a mistake, if there's a typo, if there's, point it out. Don't be shy. So I can correct myself, and we can kind of go from there. So I'm proud to say that's the culture that has been established at Lourdes. If there's an error, if I made it, the error, point it out, because I'm going to point your error out as well. And my job is to help them grow and to develop. So you're not going to grow and develop if you're not making mistakes or pushing forward or thinking outside the box. One of my stronger points is I'm a visionary. I can gamble. Let me rephrase that. God, dog, I keep saying these cliches.
Drive-bys and gambling.
I don't mind. I'm a risk taker. I don't mind trying something new. You know, I don't mind stepping on the edge. And we're starting women's wrestling. That's real up here. You know, I mean, I'm gonna be in Texas a lot, hanging out with Donnita. We ain't got no wrestlers up here. So so we don't mind trying. We don't mind trying new stuff. So yeah, so that's just, you know, it is. It's a good thing, but at the same time, you have to stay grounded.
Well,
That's right.
isn't that part of being a leader? You have to be somewhat of a risk taker. And what makes you a leader is because you do think outside the box and you can't be afraid. I think what happens is people are so afraid of making a mistake that they won't do anything. And that is crippling and demoralizing to those that you're trying to lead. And so I don't mind a person that fails short trying. It's when you fall short sitting still is where I have an issue.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me just add this. The other piece of this, Mike, is people need to see that there are different types of leadership styles. So one of the things that has made it so initially difficult for all of us at some point was the fact that people hadn't seen women lead. So you're being judged by all the other men that's been in a position, and because you don't do it like the man do it, oh, you're not as good. Like, and who said that? Who made that assumption? So the wonderful thing about where we are right now in terms of this podcast, the show, is the fact that you get representation from different women who all have different styles of leadership, but we've been successful. So for anybody coming up behind us, you know, the person who's a little over the top like me, they can say, I can be an athletic director, because I can promise you they probably had never seen somebody over the top, sometimes with an afro, sometimes with braids, sometimes with straight hair. Every now and then I think I'm Beyonce. I mean, this exists. Listen.
And oh boy, you so male.
Can I be an athletic director? You absolutely can be an athletic director, because thank God we have had the chance now to be in the position to excel and for people to see success in a different way.
Yes, yes.
That's a lottery ticket right there, Mike. There you go, Kiki. I'm clapping.
Well, look, it's surely bringing light to the Coolio reference, isn't it?
Yes.
Hey, for those of you who have just joined in, we are on the journey. And the journey is going to be guaranteed to be a show that you definitely want to stay in tune to with each and every week. We have this pilot episode on today, but there are many more to come. And we're going to have what we call breakout sessions. We'll have them individually, but I thought it would have been best to collectively have them all come together. And first on the list is going to have to be Elissa when we do our breakouts, because she done dropped out on us today. I don't know what happened. Maybe her gerbil died trying to keep a battery alive on the phone, but we'll find out what happens. So y'all gonna probably tell I said that, but that's okay. I'm not scared of none of y'all, and we're gonna make it happen. But I am just, as they say, a mediator, a host. You guys are the actual rubber meeting the road, and you're dealing with all these pressures, being the first African American in a position, being over a conference, being athletic director, being compared to a male. Now let me get a little personal. How do you deal with your spouse, and when do you remind yourself, let me take this hat off and put this other hat on as my spouse?
Now you talking to Kiki and Donnita, because I'm a single baby. What?
Oh,
Be quiet.
well,
Go
ahead, Donnita. You go first.
Well, I think that's actually a fantastic question. My husband and I struggle a little bit. He's ex-military, and we're both oldest children, and both bossy. I am a strong believer in God, strong faith, and I do believe that the man should lead your household. But I like to say that he may wear the pants, but I'm the belt.
Hey!
Wow.
I'll put that on the bottom of my email.
Yes, indeed.
I can see that being a hashtag right about now on Twitter Nation.
Yeah, so that's how I would summarize it. I never have to dumb down. Very supportive on what each of our endeavors are at the time or whatever. And so, hey, if he's had to help fill in for radio broadcast for a football game, and he just kind of is my utility player. During the sports program and throughout the year. So I'd like to say that I'm that for him. But that is my best description of how I think that it should work. I don't know, that's not biblical, but that's how I feel.
I love that. I absolutely love that, Donnita. You may wear the pants, but I'm the belt. I'm keeping them up.
I love it.
All I can say is when my wife hears this one, I'm in for it.
That's every black woman in America. He may be the pants, but I'm the belt. I'm holding this thing together. Yeah. I was saying, I don't know if I'm really a great wife. I don't know if I'm a really good wife because I work a lot and I love what I do. And so that kind of always spills over into everything we're doing. I feel very fortunate to have a very good husband who loves me to death and supports anything that I decide I'm going to put my energies to. But I mean, we take care of each other. If he needs me, I'm going to be there, if that makes any sense. Like, needs aren't the same for everybody. So I make jokes. Like, I never was this clingy. I wasn't a clingy woman, meaning that I could live alone and be very happy. I didn't have to have a partner. I didn't need to be married. That is something I desired because I wanted to have kids. But if I didn't, I would have been just fine because I had other things that I was interested in. And so one of the things that I had to work with in terms of getting married was, it was like, oh, I have somebody I have to consider now. It's not just about me. And understand that I'm the first child too. So everything in my life has always been about me. I was my mom's first child, my daddy's first girl, my grandmother's first granddaughter, like my auntie's first niece. I am the first. So I'm special. So everything around my life, everything around everybody else's life was always centered around me. So trying to transition from living a life of everything's about you to now sharing a life with someone, that was very difficult for me. In the earlier years of our marriage, and at that point where I didn't think we were gonna make it. Because I was like, I'm focused, I'm trying to do this work, and I got a husband over here, and he ain't, for a moment there I felt like he wasn't on my team. But again, thank God for God and what he does. He knows how to get you right. And I feel like he helped me to see the error of my ways and stop being so selfish. And I feel like I'm doing better now. But I can tell you, and my husband would tell you in the beginning, oh boy, that was tough for us. It was very, very, very tough, and I didn't do a good job.
Well, I got news for you, sis. That didn't have nothing to do with you being an athletic director. That just has what the enemy tries to destroy, the covenant of marriage. And so, and I learned this, and Janet, you ain't off the hook. I got a question for you too coming up. So, since you bowed out of this session right here, but I've learned over time. I've been married for 30 years, and I thank God that God sent a woman that could tolerate me for who I am, because I'm not the easiest person to get along with. Just like everyone else, you get involved into your work, whatever your work is. And there are 3 stages to marriage. There's that honeymoon stage. That's that stage where no children, and it's like lovey-dovey, honey, honey, kissy, kissy, facey, facey. It's all that. Then comes the sacrificial stage, when you have the children and it seems like that everything is getting ahead of you. You don't have your me time. And that's probably the most critical time of being married, because you then have to start discovering that there are other things besides you that are important, such as the children, such as a career, such as society things that help complete you to become a whole person. And then there's the reacquaintance stage when the children have left the nest and mama and daddy look up and say, hey, I remember you. And then you start to revisit each other all over again. So if you can remember those stages, you'll be all right.
Amen. I'm supposed to write that down
on that. Yeah.
Well, now, Janet, I got one for you, Janet. Are you there, Janet? Janet?
I'm ready, Mike. I'm ready.
You ready?
Ball, I'm gonna hit it.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Girl, I'm about to give you a softball. You are a woman in position, a woman of authority, a woman of power. How intimidating is that when you are potentially meeting someone that you'd be interested in dating?
The word intimidating is so harsh. I think it has a percentage of something to do with it out of a pie of 100. It does have a percentage in there. It does. So you can't ignore it. I don't know how to explain it. You have to be ready and open to be in a relationship in order to be in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, I didn't want to. I wanted to focus on my career, my family, which is my son. Again, I was or still a single parent, but he's grown now. But still, that's what I love. I loved my career. I loved my family, my mother, and all of that stuff. So I was not, woe is me. So I was okay. I was really, really okay. So at this journey in my life, I am dating someone. So the timing is right. I've never been one to fantasize and figure out or say to myself, at 30, I'm supposed to be married. At 35, I'm supposed to have my PhD. At 40, I'm supposed to have 2 kids, a house, a picket fence, a dog, and a cat. Nope. I've always gone with the wind. And I was okay with not following the norm.
Well,
so literally right now, I want to date. I want to be in a relationship. I want to get it, and that's what I am now because now I'm ready. But prior to that, I was like, man, I'm good. So that's why. But that's why.
Speaking of words,
the intimidating part. Please say it again.
That's a word right there, though.
Yeah, it is.
That's the word. The word is about being ready. Like, I think, yes, that's ready. And I don't know if we talk about that enough with young women or men. Like, we don't talk about, we give everybody the deadline. And if you don't meet the deadline, oh my gosh, your life is over, you know. And who made up these rules again? Who said that you had to do all of these things by this time? And so you have,
and not only that, but I always, when I'm talking to some of our student workers and all, and they're talking to me about their relationships, it's always, hey, baby, it is more than about the dress. You better believe it. And all that, it is way deeper than that. And so we always have some very frank discussions on that, on being ready, and not just because you're ready to plan a wedding or do that.
Because, once that wedding is over with, baby, it's called a thing called life. And you be, because guess what comes after the wedding?
So as soon as I get married, I'm going to send y'all an invitation. Make sure y'all bring a gift.
She said, make sure we bring a gift. Okay.
We're there.
Look, and when you was talking about that, the picket fence and stuff, I'm not going to call her name out, but I know I was 13, 14 years old, and I called myself courting this girl, and she was planning our marriage and stuff. I broke up with her real quick. I was like, baby, I ain't got time for all that. What are you talking about? You trying to, she had 1995. Now, 95 seemed like a light year away from me. What was 95, girl? I don't even know what's going to be going on in 95. You got me married with a dog and a cat. Like, no,
and a dog and a cat.
Yeah, I said, no, we're not gonna have that. But it is wonderful, and I don't think you guys heard it, but you said it in your own way about being confident, independent, and to a degree, in a good way, stubborn, because that are the key ingredients to being a leader. You know,
absolutely.
But all of you also have what I call reverse, which means, hey, if I feel like I'm going wrong, enough people pulling on my coat, hey, you might want to reevaluate this. Then let me reverse, go back to the drawing board, and come up with alternate B or alteration B or alteration C, because it's not my way or the highway. It's a team. It's working as a unit, and that's the beauty about sports. Now, ladies, I know that we had, a designated time, and I'm not going to keep you all over your time. But what I want to thank you all so much. We're looking forward to the journey. And before we get on here now, Janet, your
Yes.
institution, Lourdes, right,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
in Ohio, most
Mm-hmm.
of our listeners probably don't even, I know it's Lourdes in Ohio, and when I did the research, it's a little bit under 1,100 students. You got 24 sports, but you got a sport that is kind of hitting a hot button right now, and that's the esports. Could you
Mm-hmm.
explain that on how you got into it, and have you seen any upgrades since you got involved with
Well, one, how I got into it, I took the job. It was already here before I got started. So
it?
I, I had to do my research when I came in on the interview. But esports is booming. We have a $300,000 arena inside an arena, and we have a young man, Coach Lamar Daniels, that is spearheading it. We have roughly 37 gamers. They are student athletes. They follow the same do. We're not sanctioning NAI, but I hold them to the certain GPA, drug testing, all the rules and regulations. They have to do, physical conditioning and the whole 9 yards as they compete and move out. It is an expensive startup when it comes to equipment, getting the room identified, and all of those things. But once you have that initial startup, it's very similar to cross country. Those things. That's a sport. They don't necessarily have to travel. You just have to be mindful of your internet and have a great relationship with the IT people to make sure you have a strong bandwidth. Because if you drop internet in the middle of a game, we done lost Burwell on the call. Them
Yes.
kids would be starting a riot. So, we done lost internet connection. So just because they compete all times of the night. Esports actually function 7 o'clock at night to 2 in the morning. We had to make some adjustments with the time the arena closed based off of their activities and how they compete and do some stuff. But we give scholarships, and it is on an uptick because they're playing games. Literally, people that are 35 and younger, you got Fortnite, you got Overwatch, you got League of Legends, you got Hearthstone. I literally, I'm a hands-on person. So I'm a go to lacrosse practice. I'm gonna go to tennis practice. I'm that person. I put on that headset, strapped up my gear, and sat down and played one of them games. I was probably the first one shot and got out the way. But I played the game, and it was really, really exciting. It is something that this is when we spoke earlier about identifying and getting a coach that knows their craft. Because when I first started, I didn't understand the language, Twitch, Discord. I didn't know what they were talking about. When the students start talking about, they can take the keyboard out and put in another keyboard. I'm like, what y'all doing? So you have to get someone in there that knows the language and knows the lingo. My esports is in a Great Lakes conference, and that's pretty much people in the Midwest. There's 18 of us. They compete online and move around. We do travel a little bit. It's a big tournament in Las Vegas. It's a big tournament in Pittsburgh. We allow our teams to compete. But it is worth the investment. Seriously, it's worth the investment. We have female athletes. We have every type of race and religion because everybody plays. And when you're behind a keyboard, don't nobody really know. They just want to know who's actually winning and who's not winning. It's a great opportunity. It's a great avenue to dab your feet into and explore it. And I think if you got that initial startup, you'll be good to go because it'll be beneficial probably by year 4 or 5. You're gonna benefit from it.
Very good, very good. Miss Kiki, you're wearing a couple of hats. You're acting as the commissioner of the Gulf Coast and athletic directors. I know you're a workaholic, but give us some insights of what's going on through the Gulf Coast that you could share with us.
Well, I mean, we are. I mean, right now we're just trying to figure out how we're going to manage our championships for this with the COVID-19 pandemic regulations, protocols, and how we're going to try to have some consistency in terms of what the minimum expectations will be for for our member institutions to ensure that we are mitigating the passage, mitigating any risk from someone contracting COVID or having a situation that would, force us not to be able to play games because the team has to be quarantined. So we actually had a meeting today to discuss that. So that's kind of where we are right now. We were looking into some membership growth kind of initiatives and some conversations, as well as eventually trying to move into getting a full-time commissioner, because I'm only doing this in the interim, just trying to keep us together as we move forward. But we hope that once we get through COVID, we'll be looking into hiring a full-time commissioner. So that's going to be fun, because I think that definitely solidifies us in terms of our foundation and being solid as a conference, and then moving forward. So we'll have someone who will be doing our fundraising and really focusing on those, on solidifying our financial future for the conference. So that's kind of where we are right now. Everything changes every day. A new report comes out with more cases reported, and things change. So just being really flexible has been something that's been something that we've had to be very comfortable with here this last month, as we continue to get data and make decisions on how we're going to compete for the fall.
Now, I got to ask you this question, right?
What's up?
Would you consider putting your name in the hat for the commissioner's position to remove the interim time?
We all ask that question. Everybody asks that question.
No.
No?
I don't want. No, I don't want to be the commissioner. No, I have other things I want to do. I feel like I've done what I need to do for the conference. Like, my job was to put us in, to administratively set us up for success, to move forward and bring somebody else in. And I've done what I was asked to do. I have things that I want to do in terms of my So You Want to Create Athletics program for girls. I feel like that's where God has called me. I feel like my job is now to connect girls ages 13 to 18 to all these awesome women like Donnita, Janet, Elissa, and a host of other women who are leading in athletics now. I feel like my relationships across the country have uniquely put me in position to do that. And so in order for me to focus in on really developing that program a little bit more, then I'm going to have to let some things off my plate. And so, I love Dillard. I love Dr. Kimbrough. I have a great relationship with him. And there's still work I feel like I can get done at Dillard before I take another move. So I want to stay there. We get the conference on good footing, hand that over to someone else, and then I can focus on just continuing my work at Dillard and then building this program, this legacy program.
Am I hearing a farewell speech?
Well, for the commissioner, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying. I'm like, oh, sound like you about to exit stage left.
For commissioner.
Oh, for
commissioner, yes.
Okay, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to twist your arm or nothing, but you could still reach those women 13 to 18 being the commissioner. I think that would give you more leverage to reach across more institutions. But who am I? I'm just a radio host. Don't pay me no mind. Miss Donnita.
Yes,
The football is a big moving piece. If you were to remove football from Langston, what would you say would be your sport of greatest challenge and of greatest potential?
Wow, greatest challenge. I want to see more support with our softball and volleyball teams. We don't have as many sports. I don't think I have as many as Kiki as well. Definitely, and not in the ballpark with Janet. So
Janet is overloaded for everybody.
Yeah, she really has enough for several of us. But I think in softball, we do a national tournament where we try to, and that's going to be about 16 to 18 teams. We hope, if everything goes well, in the spring of 2021 at the USA Softball Hall of Fame Stadium. So we're hoping that goes really well. But I would like to see some way to really promote those sports where those young ladies feel, I guess, the love, like that packed arena or packed stadium feel. I would love to see that take on more of I guess, a hype feel or whatever for game day.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, basketball is a huge sport as far as attendance and alumni buy-in and all that other good stuff. We are, Langston University is, I guess, known for Marcus Haynes. For those of us
Mm-hmm.
people in trivia, known as one of the best dribblers in Harlem Globetrotter, all those good things.
Mm-hmm.
So our court is named after him. But, so I would love for us to have a person or a player to kind of hang our hat on in those other sports as well.
Okay, well, ladies, we have just completed the first trip of the journey, and I want to give each and every one of you some closing thoughts on selling your institution. And we're going to start all the way in Ohio first.
What? Everything is better in Toledo. Some closing things about my institution and selling my institution. Lourdes University is sponsored by the Sisters of St. Francis. We pride ourselves on reverent community and making sure everybody has a place to flourish and excel. Sitting on beautiful 15 acres of just beautiful scenery. We interact with the sisters on a daily basis. They are still active on our campus and our community. And when you pull up on our campus, you could feel the peace. You could feel the love. You could feel and find out and do a little soul searching as you sit down and go from there. We are liberal arts, but we have some unique things that we offer. We offer a degree in craft brewing. If you want to make some liquor, come on up.
Call it communion. Call it communion. Call it communion.
Yes, but we pride ourselves on the academic side in the field of nursing. So you can get your master's and a PhD in the nursing field. So we pride ourselves in that, and then we follow it up with a strong business department. And thirdly is the educational field and go from there. For us, 62% of student athletes on campus, we don't have the traditional dorms. We have residence life. So if you are looking to do something differently, to have an apartment-style feel and do your own thing, cook your own food, we're definitely the place to be. And the last tip about Sylvania, Ohio, we experience every season. Spring, winter, fall, summer, you will experience every season. You're not going to be down there by Kiki and Donnita was 100 degrees year round. Come on up and get some negative 10 degrees in your life and enjoy it.
All right, Miss Dillard, you're on the floor.
All right. Dillard University is located in the heart of the state of Louisiana, New Orleans, Louisiana. Matter of fact, people think New Orleans and Louisiana are synonymous, right? New Orleans is Louisiana, just in case you didn't know. Home of the New Orleans Saints. Okay, I'm not going to go to football teams because I know everybody's not an NFL fan. But let me say this. If you want the best crawfish, best seafood, the best festivals, every major event comes to the city. Super Bowls, All-Star games, what do you want to call it, the gymnastics tournament. If you want to come to a place where you're going to have an opportunity to see stars a little bit, but also get the home feel too, you're going to get that in New Orleans. Dillard University has 22 majors. We are a beautiful campus. We are an HBCU, a part of United Negro College Fund group as well. We have an awesome president and leader, Dr. Walter Kimbrough, who has been with us, I think, for 7 or 8 years now. It's a place where you're going to be respected as a person, and people are going to work with you to make sure that you become the best you can be. I think that's the beautiful thing I love about Dillard. You can come in as a piece of coal, but when you leave, you're going to be a gem. We call ourselves the gem of gentility,
That's a nice neighborhood in New Orleans, but you will become a gem of gentility, and you'll be able to go out into the world and do great things. We take our
That's right. They have
very
great alums.
and we have fantastic alums who are doing amazing work, like my sister and sorority sister Janet, who is leading the athletic department in a predominantly white area. She is an African American woman who was educated at an HBCU and is doing it. So, to those, that's right. To those out there that think that you need to attend, some of these other Ivy Leagues, Dillard University is the Black Ivy League. And we have graduates who have gone in any environment and have been able to be successful. Matter of fact, Mike, you mentioned that your alma mater was Prairie View. How about that alumnus your president is a Dillard University graduate?
Yeah, I understand that quite well.
So let me just throw that out there.
Yeah, she's also an AKA, and we don't have Miss Elissa to come promote her on that. But it's okay, though. It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off because I want you to accuse me of cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, we're good. I wanted to claim all of my prestigious Dillard University alumni in the world. There are more, but she just so happens to be one who is leading exceptionally well and was the first president of Black woman that was the president of an Ivy League. So, becoming HBCU educated, that's a good thing, and you won't get the short end of the stick.
Amen and hallelujah. Thank you, Coolio. Miss Donnita, would you rescue us all, Miss Donnita?
All right. Well, I would love to brag on my university, the Langston University. Like I said earlier, we are the only HBCU in the state of Oklahoma and the furthest HBCU to the west. So we are the closest HBCU to the West Coast. We do have a lot of students that come from California and out west, and that's one of our big selling points. We have 3 campuses, one in Oklahoma City, one in Tulsa, and, of course, here, kind of in the country here at Langston University. We are well-renowned for goat research. So you can go towards the lake, and then you see some of the barns there where we have tag goats, and they keep track of them. I think they have GPS chips and all that on them, but huge time each spring where you can come up and taste goat milk, ice cream, cheese, jerky, all those other type of things. For us, it may not sound that tasty thinking about goat meat, but it's not a major meat in the United States, but in other parts of the world, it's a huge commodity. So that's kind of maybe something that people don't know. I think that we're in the top 5 HBUs for the cost of attendance. So we're easier on the pocketbook than a lot of HBCUs. One thing we're known for our physical therapy program, one of the best in the state, and it is a doctoral program as you go all the way through it. Great nursing program as well. On sports-wise, we have our football team. We now play for the Senior Athletic Conference, and they have only lost 1 conference game in 3 years. So they have a huge target on their back every time they go out. Some people may know one of our most famous graduates is our only first-round draft pick was Thomas Hollywood Henderson, a great alumni and letterman. Continues to give back to our program and be a big part of our athletic program. And one of the things, too, is when I first got here, I knew that we were going to need additional help. And I think that we have we call it a SAS program, which is our student athletic support staff. So we have a core group of about 10 or 12 students that some volunteer, some are on work study, but their core thing is being exposed to game operations. And so we've had several of them that want to go into athletic administration. So that's a great chance for them to come in and work, get some hours, being mentored by my assistant athletic director, Tanisha McKinney, in compliance and game operations, and kind of see what goes on in the athletic department. And we kind of throw them in and teach them how to swim. So I'm real proud of that program. And would love for people to check us out on www.langstonsports.com.
All right, very well stated, ladies. And ladies and gentlemen, they thought we could do this in 30 minutes. Miss Janet and Miss Kiki, before we shut down for today, I just want to remind you, you are lovely Delta Sigma Thetas, and I appreciate that. But I want you to understand something. There is something that will always hold you together, no matter if you look to your left, to the right. That is a sigma. Okay, you could not be complete without that sigma. And I'm going to add a little bit to that at my beloved Prairie View A&M University campus that sits on top of the hill, where we produce productive people every day. The infamous chapter of Phi Beta Sigma was Delta Theta. With that being said, I want to thank you all so much for joining us on today. We'll have our breakout sessions. We'll get more detail from each individual that came on. And Miss Elissa, when we wake up her gerbils, maybe her phone will be working the next time around, and we'll get her in the exclusive. We want to thank you guys so much for joining us on today. We want to thank our sponsors for supporting us on today. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. My time has allowed me now that I must exit stage left. But until the next time, you guys be blessed. We'll see you on the other side.